Hello, this is HD Chambers. I'm the Superintendent of Schools for Alief ISD, and I hope I come to you today in good spirits and in good health. I know it's it's been a long haul. I know it has for everyone. But I just want to share just a few pieces of information that are relevant as as our staff, as our parents, as our students, and as the general community begins preparing to start our first day of school in a full virtual environment with our Alief Learns at Home curriculum. So next Thursday, August the 6th, will be our first day of school. And it will not look like any other first day of school that we have ever experienced. It will be unique. And I just want to remind everyone, particularly parents, that we are starting 100% virtual, meaning your child is to not go to school in person. We are starting the school year in a virtual environment. You should have, if you haven't already, you will be hearing from your campus, your child's teachers, administration, about a lot of things. But I just want to remind everyone so that everyone's clear that we are starting 100% virtual, and we will remain 100% virtual as long as health conditions warrant that. And I'm hesitant to put a date on it, as I've told you before. I'm hesitant to put a date on when we're going to come back for in person. I know the state has some dates and some timelines, and trust me, we're going to be okay. Whatever we need to do, we're going to be fine. We're not going to put anybody in harm's way. But as we work through this beginning of the school year, just know it's 100% virtual. Excuse me. As we begin preparing, I just want to make sure that as preparing for August the 6th, families, if you have not registered your child, or if you have not been asked to register your child through a form of a text message or going on our website, I strongly encourage you to visit our website at www.aliefisd.net. And the first thing you're going to see is a pop-up screen that gives you really 3 links. And I'm going to encourage you to re-enroll your child or re-register your child. Even though you're registered and you're enrolled in Alief, this is going to help us realize what technology needs you may have. One of the things we learned in the spring was many of our families, many of our students needed technology in their home in order to have a successful or a somewhat successful experience with learning at home. We have purchased over close to 30,000 devices and almost 16,000 4G reliable hotspots for families that need them. And we want to make sure that each campus has an accurate count and an accurate reflection of what families and what children need, so we can make sure to get those to you. We have some schools that may have already begun delivering or passing out these devices. So please, please be on the lookout. If you haven't heard, be on the lookout for information from your campus about when to pick it up, how to pick it up, the directions that go along with it, etc. The second thing I'd like to make mention of is if you're a family and you have not filled out your free and reduced breakfast and lunch application, please do that. There's a lot of reasons for that. One is we can provide breakfast and lunch for your children. Also, when you do that, that data reflects on our student populations, and we're able to do things with that information that is helpful for your children. So if you qualify for free and reduced lunch, I encourage you to fill out the application if you haven't already done so. If you have multiple children, please fill it out for each child. But as a result of that, I just want everyone to know that we're going to be providing breakfast and lunch to children just like we would in a regular school year. And here's how we're going to do it. We are going to provide a breakfast and a lunch each evening for the next day. So for the example, August the 6th, a Thursday, is our first day of school. On Wednesday, August the 5th, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., and then every afternoon after that, we're going to be providing breakfast and lunch for each student who qualifies, whose family has filled out the application. And the reason we're doing it that way is so that in the evenings, families have an opportunity between 5 and 7, hopefully after work or after things settle down, they're able to go to their child's school and pick it up. But we're going to do that in the evenings in preparation for the next day. So let me be clear. On the very first day of school, which is August the 6th, Thursday, Your child's breakfast and lunch will be ready to be picked up the day before, Wednesday, August the 5th, between 5 and 7 p.m. at your child's campus. So I want to be clear, August the 5th, Wednesday, is not the first day of school. It's the first day, or that evening is the first evening you can pick your child's breakfast and lunch up. So make sure that you've filled out the application and you qualify for free and reduced lunch. And when you do, be sure and bring your student ID or bring your child's student ID so they can be identified as qualifying for it. If you're an elementary student, an intermediate, or a middle school student, your meals will be picked up at your child's school. If you're a high school or an ALC or a Crossroads student, you can pick your meals up either at Elsik High School or Taylor High School, either one of those. So any high school student, you can pick yours up at Elsik High School or Taylor High School. And again, breakfast and lunch will be provided the evening prior to the day, the next day. So for example, on Fridays, we will not be delivering meals on Friday evening because Saturday and Sunday are not going to be obviously school days. So just want to make sure that you're aware of that. I'm sorry, I'm looking at some notes here. The other thing I'd like to remind everyone is, I know there are, or not remind, but just kind of acknowledge, there's a lot of information going out right now across the state of Texas between local, county, and cities who are issuing orders of stay at home. You can't start school till Labor Day. You can't start in-person school until after Labor Day. The state of Texas, the governor and state leaders have issued a letter kind of explaining their position. Here's what I want staff to be aware of, and for those families who are paying attention to that, but I want staff in particular to be aware of this. We have all the flexibility that we need to make the right decisions for you and our students and our families. I know a lot of people are worried about what does in-person school look like when we get to that point. And as I've mentioned before, I am not ready to put a date on when we're going to try to start bringing students back for in-person, because I don't know what that date is. It's going to be in large part based upon what our local health officials advise us. I have mentioned this before. At Alief, we have a significant number of zip codes in our area, in our community, that have positive case rates that are extremely high, extremely high. We have to get that. We have to get those numbers down. And so I am right now in the process of working with our city and local county officials on a way in which there can be a set of metrics, a set of data points that are established that we can all shoot for in order for us to even begin considering bringing students and staff back onto campus in a safe and healthy way. Right now, no one has provided school districts. I want to be really clear about this. No one has told a superintendent, no one from Washington, D.C., no one from Austin, Texas, no one from the county or the city. No one has told us what types of data points should we be shooting for in order to begin considering bringing students in. Is it a certain positivity rate among those who are tested for COVID? Is it a transmission rate? Is it no one has given us anything. And we have asked our county officials to do that, to give us some type of North Star to look at and begin rallying our communities around by simply saying, hey, in our case, Alief, if our community does the following things, if we recommit ourselves to masks and social distancing and washing our hands and not going to places that provide a greater risk of being access to COVID, if we can get these numbers down, whatever those numbers are, whatever the numbers we're given, if we can get these numbers down to a level that everyone in the health industry would agree is acceptable, then maybe we can start talking about bringing students and staff back in for in-person learning. But until we get our numbers down, guys, that's going to be very difficult. It's going to be very difficult. And as I've mentioned before, I don't want to contribute to the spread of COVID by decisions I make. So with that being said, I'm encouraging every one of you, every adult, every student watching this, listening to this, that if we want to seriously begin looking at bringing students back for in-person school at some point in the future, a month from now, 2 months from now, whenever that is, we have to act right now, and we have to do our part to bring the spread of that virus down in our own community. All we can be responsible for are our communities. We can't be responsible for the city of Houston or for Harris County or for the state of Texas. We have to be responsible for ourselves in our community. And so my request is for everyone that watches this to continue practicing these safe protocols. Because if we don't, and we continue seeing numbers rise, and we still can see we continue seeing cases rise, the ability to bring students and staff back in a safe manner will get further and further away. And that's the last thing we want. We do not want a health crisis to create an education crisis. And as I've said multiple times, every day that our children are not in front of a teacher, or every day our teacher's not in front of children in an in-person environment, is a day that we're losing, and we have learning losses and learning gaps that are exacerbating and widening. Now, we can fix those, and we will, once we are able to diagnose and address those. But it's going to be difficult to do that in a 100% virtual environment. So we have to do our part, every one of us, as adults, as children, we have to do our part. So all we can do is take care of our own. So if each family takes care of their business and their family, then as a community, we should begin seeing the numbers of our positive cases begin to decline. So with that, I hope that everyone takes care of themselves. Hope everyone has a great weekend as it's coming up. And just know that I look forward to the start of the school year. I know families are frustrated, students are frustrated, teachers are frustrated, we're all frustrated. But I will continue to make decisions that I believe are in the best, the best interest of our safety and our health. And I'm getting that information from our local health officials, and we'll continue to do that. And we will continue to do the best we can to provide a quality education for our students. And knowing that we will have some work to do whenever we get a chance to bring these students back for in-person. So thank you for all of your support. Thank you for all of your patience. And just thank you for being a member of a community that prides itself on getting things done. And right now, what we need to get done is we need to get our cases lowered in this community, period. So thank you. God bless everyone. Talk to you soon.